Have you ever heard of the chopsticks ritual? Some believe that placing 3 chopsticks vertically in a bowl of water can reveal the presence of spirits. If the chopsticks remain standing, it means something unseen is still lingering. Today's story is deeply unsettling. Gather your bravest friends and listen carefully. A mysterious encounter. I live in an old neighborhood with no elevator, so every day I have to take the stairs to my apartment on the 5th floor. One evening, after staying out late, I reached the 4th floor and noticed a figure standing near my classmate's house. It was a man with short hair, wearing green clothes. I recognized him immediately. It was Uncle Sue, a neighbor who had watched me grow up. "Good evening, Uncle Sue." I greeted him, but he didn't respond. He stood there, staring blankly as if he hadn't heard me. A strange feeling crept over me, but I brushed it off and walked past him, heading home. The terrifying truth. When I got home, my mother was waiting for me. I casually mentioned that I had just seen Uncle Sue downstairs. Her face immediately turned pale. "That's impossible," she said. "Uncle Sue passed away yesterday." I froze. My heart pounded. "But I just saw him. I'm sure of it." I insisted. My mother kept questioning me, asking if I was mistaken. But I wasn't. I saw him clearly, just a few feet away from me. The fear grows. The next morning, I was woken up by funeral music playing outside. I asked my mother, "What's going on?" She sighed. "Uncle Sue didn't survive. He passed away at the hospital yesterday." Fear gripped my chest. If Uncle Sue had died yesterday, then who did I see last night? That day, on my way to school, I passed by his house again. A table was set up outside with a framed photo of Uncle Sue on it. Every time I passed the 4th floor, I remember that night. For a while, I was too afraid to take the stairs alone. But after some time, I convinced myself that it was just my imagination. A second encounter. One evening, I decided to take the stairs again. As I climbed up, I suddenly felt an eerie presence behind me. Something was watching me. I turned around, and what I saw made my blood run cold. It was him. Uncle Sue was standing behind me, staring directly at me. My legs gave out. My vision blurred. I screamed and collapsed to the ground. My mother heard my cries and rushed downstairs. She helped me up and asked what happened. I stammered. I saw Uncle Sue." She didn't believe me. The ritual begins. That night, my face started hurting terribly. The pain was unbearable, yet there were no visible wounds. Worried, my mother took me to the hospital, but the doctors found nothing wrong. Desperate, she called my grandmother. The moment Grandma saw my face, she immediately knew what was happening. She took a bowl of water and placed 3 chopsticks in it. Then, she muttered something under her breath and let go. To my horror, the chopsticks stood upright in the water. Grandma's expression darkened. "It's Uncle Sue," she whispered. "His spirit is restless, and he's trying to reach Juwa." Then, in a stern voice, Grandma warned, "If you keep disturbing my granddaughter, I will make sure you are dealt with." At that moment, the chopsticks suddenly fell over on their own. My mother gasped in fear. Grandma simply sighed and told me to go to sleep. "I have my own way of handling this," she said. The morning after, when I woke up the next morning, the pain in my face was completely gone. I asked my mother what Grandma had done. She refused to answer. Even when I later questioned Grandma, she simply smiled and said, "Some things are better left unknown." From that day on, I never saw Uncle Sue again. But every time I passed the 4th floor, I couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone was still watching me. Do you believe in spirits? Would you dare try the chopsticks ritual? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying stories. Fearful Face Ghost.